Welcome back. Now, just minutes after addressing the gathering at the late Kibra Member of Parliament Ken Okoth's funeral function, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko was at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission headquarters to record a statement. Sonko was summoned concerning his utterances earlier this year against Women Representative Esther Passaris over expenses, claims for out-of-town workdays, also known as per diem. Sonko had earlier today said that he's ready to step aside if charged in court.
Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko making his entry into the Ethics and Anti-Corruption headquarters at around 4 p.m. Thursday afternoon. A few minutes to 6 p.m., the governor emerged.
Put on my jeans, suit, nikabeba mswaki yangu, sabuni, kama kitaumana niko ready.
Sonko was summoned by the EACC over his utterances against Nairobi Woman Representative Esther Passaris, leading to his questioning and recording a statement.
So yangu ikuwa matusi, and I'll stick to that. I am not her husband. Yeah, I repeat myself, and I've repeated in my statement. Then the other thing was the issue of per diem. There was a previous trip for Vienna that we paid for her ticket, plus per diem, which was less than 100,000. That one we paid. But for this particular New York trip, it was in the public domain.
Sonko's troubles in this case emanate from his assertions that Esther Passaris had sought to lodge double claims for expenses on out-of-work assignments, commonly referred to as per diem, a matter Passaris did not take lying down. She invited the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI, EACC, and National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCIC to look into the matter and clear her name.
You have a right of being heard. You have a right of being someone, you record your statement, they tuangalie. But mimi nimekuja na ukweli pia, ukweli yangu. So it doesn't mean that I'm on the wrong, I'm wrong. Even I was ready to support the president in the fight against corruption.
A letter from the EACC has pegged its summons to the governor on Article 252(1)(a)(d) of the Constitution, Section 11 of the EACC Act 2012, and Section 4, Part 2, and 42(10) of the Leadership and Integrity Act, all of which outline the guidelines of the conduct of state officers.
It was just big words being used in the letter. You know, they even explained the Chapter 6 that I violated the Chapter 6 itself. But to me, I've not violated any law.
Sonko and Passaris have previously differed in public and online. In one instance, Passaris walked out of a public function presided over by the governor. Most of these spats have revolved around the use of public and personal resources for service delivery. And the governor has pledged to step aside if found to have a case to answer.
He was on the wrong side of the law. I was ready to step aside even today.
Mark Namaswa, KTN News.
All right, so let's bring in the voice of Alutolala Mukhwana, Professor Alutolala Mukhwana, just to pick his mind on Sonko's suggestion that, yes, he's ready to step aside if it comes to that. But, Professor, he knows that that will not happen. Looking at the scenario in the county of Nairobi, A, there is no deputy governor, and the situation with the speaker is neither here nor there.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think I do not want to comment on Mheshimiwa Sonko's comments directly, but what is clear is that without the deputy governor in Nairobi, if Honorable Sonko were to resign or to step aside, that would clearly cause a constitutional crisis, because the Constitution anticipates that the deputy governor would step in the absence of the governor. And in fact, it says that if the deputy governor steps in and serves for a duration more than 2.5 years, he will actually not be allowed to run afresh because he's considered as having finished his term. So the absence of a deputy governor itself is not a good thing for Nairobi County, and the problem is amplified by the absence of a substantive speaker of the county assembly, because ordinarily, where both the county governor and the deputy are not in, then the Speaker of the County Assembly ought to come in to salvage the situation. So those remarks by Honorable Sonko and the fact that there's no deputy governor, quite frankly, are not pleasant things for the county of Nairobi.
If we were to get to that point, Professor, what would essentially happen?
Well, that is the constitutional crisis. I mean, you do not have a deputy governor. The governor steps aside. you do not have a substantive Speaker of the County Assembly, that is a constitutional crisis as far as those positions are concerned, plain and simple. I do not know any other answer to that.
And that is why someone was saying, Sonko is saying he's ready to step aside because he knows, A, he cannot, and 2, he's probably one of the safest governors right now in the Republic.
Well, as I said, I wouldn't want to comment directly in response to Honorable Sonko's remarks, but yes, the difficult position that is putting the Nairobi people in. But you know that Honorable Sonko is a bit unique in the way he does his things and the way he speaks. Therefore, he may not be very responsive to the needs of the moment when he says that, because quite frankly, that is being callous, in my view.
Professor Alutalala Mukhwana, thank you for just giving your voice to this particular story. Let's see how it goes. Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko says he's ready to step aside at any moment. Remember, that was the scenario that faced the residents of Kiambu after Ferdinand Waititu was charged in court. The same day, his deputy governor called for a presser, saying they will not allow for a vacuum in that particular county. But then things are different for the county of Nairobi, as the professor says it. Nairobi does not have a deputy governor. The position of speaker is neither here nor there. So yes, that would present a constitutional crisis that perhaps someone needs to start thinking of.